Hello, everybody. Welcome to Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Truett Wagner. Today, we have a superhero all the way from Switzerland, Michel Fornasier, if I'm doing it correctly, if I'm saying it correctly,
Yes.
who was the inspiration behind Bionic Man. And we are going to jump right in because I am super excited. Hello, Michel. How are you?
Yes. Hi, how are you? Thanks for inviting me to your show. I
Yeah.
really appreciate.
Yes, yes. No. We're very happy you're here. So listen, I want to jump right in with the conversation. We're so excited you're here. Now, you are the inspiration behind Bionic Man. Now, just quickly tell us, and of course we're going to show photographs to the New York viewers here what Bionic Man is, and it could be their first time seeing it, but hey, he's a superhero, so he can go anywhere he wants to go. So tell us the inspiration as well as how it came about. Now, you're working with an artist, is that correct?
Exactly. Well, Bionic Man is a superhero with a disability, but his disability is not a disadvantage at all. Instead, it's an added value. This ability to use his bionic hand. Well, he has like a kind of special bionic hand, and with this bionic hand, he has like superpowers.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much for my copy. I'm going to show, yes. There is a baby deer here who was also an amputee. And what I loved about this comic book, and of course we'll edit in some things, is that you touch on a lot of different topics. For example, animals and joggers and children. So that is wonderful. You also, Michel, you too, on your Instagram page, you have a very strong sense of humor. I see you with your photographs, and for example, I remember seeing a photograph of you at the table, or it was in some restaurant or something of that nature, and you had your hand hidden, and yet then you had bread sticks or something for fingers or whatever. do you like? Are you a very comical person? Do you comical? Is that I don't even know if that's a word or not. Do you like comedy in your personal life?
Yes, very much. I love comedy. For me, it's really important that it's very respectful to other peoples as well to uphold the dignity of people with special needs. I think that's really crucial for me. To talk about disability
Yes.
in a easy way, I would say, but always with big and respect to other peoples, of course.
Yes, absolutely. I think so as well. But I do. But I do want to say I do appreciate your sense of humor, and I love the Instagram page. I follow it all the time, and again, it is a wonderful page, and I just think that you're great. You also, what was the one, the balloon, is you have a balloon blowing, we'll probably show that photograph as well. You have a balloon carrying an arm, and then you're jumping up there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little bit like Banksy. It
Yes.
looks like Banksy, and yes, the balloon with the heart. And the message of this picture is that prosthesis all over the world should not be a heart desire for people. Well, here in Switzerland, or I guess in the US as well, it is not that hard to get prosthesis at all. But there are other countries which it's much more difficult to get one because of the financial situation and other things. So I would try to be a tiny wheel in this huge, gigantic clockwork and try to move in the right direction. So that's kind of my mission.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's talk about your mission for a second, because you actually are, now you work, I see your name a lot. When I was doing my homework on you, you're very popular in Switzerland, but now you work for one foundation, but yet you also have your own is that correct? You're involved, you work with one foundation, but yet you own another foundation. Is that correct?
Exactly. Well, before I was a long time in the private banking for over 10 years. It makes sense in Switzerland to be in the financial sector.
Yes.
Then I moved,
Yeah.
then I moved, then I moved to Amnesty International for like 4 years. I worked there in the fundraising department. And then I had the idea, let's create an own foundation. Let's create our own charity and the name of the charity is Give Children a Hand. So we give children a hand, like really physically as well. So give someone a hand is someone to help someone. But
Yes.
we try to give children really a physical hand as well from the 3D printer. So that's kind of our mission, and I'm very, very pleased, and I'm very, very honored to do this job beside my work,
Yes.
my work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're getting a very big following, and it's going international, and you are doing a great job. So we really do have to show a lot of respect for that and appreciation. So yes, thank you. Okay, so now as far as children go, how important do you think it is for children who are disabled to be involved, to have social interaction, to be involved with whether it's sports, whether it's the theater, whether it is art, whether it's biology, whether it's a school subject? We're going through a shift now in America where more and more parents of children who are disabled are allowing their children to get more involved and experience more of a social interaction. What is your thoughts on that?
I think that's very, very important. It's all about inclusion. Inclusion, I mean, a child with a disability or without a disability, it should be, they should play together, they should work together, they should explore together. I mean, it should be nothing special. I mean, they should be involved in all the school activities or
Yes.
leisure activities.
Yes.
That's crucial. I think that's so important for the whole life for such a it has a huge impact for growing up. I remember when I was a school kid, and when I was around like 12 or 13, and I had the first rendezvous, the first date, and I was so ashamed of my disability, of my left hand, that I have just one hand. So I told the girl I dated back in the days, I had an accident. I broke my arm when I was skateboarding.
Uh-huh.
So I went to the first date and told her, "Oh, Julia, look, I have a broken hand on my right hand. I don't have a right hand," but she didn't know, of course. And then she was like, "Oh, you're such a poor boy. It was like this, but you can do this for like 2 or 3 months." So
right.
after
Yes.
2 weeks, I have to tell her, Julia, I'm really sorry. I didn't fell on my skateboard. I didn't broke my hand. I don't have a right hand. And she answered me, "Oh, look, Michael, I don't care if you have 3 eyes or if you have 4 ears. I love you like this. I mean, if you have 2 hands or just one, I don't care about it." And it was so important, this message. And it was very, very important for me at this time because I was so insecure.
Yes.
And I think people, especially children, I mean, they can be very brutal against each other. You can wear the wrong Nikes, and you are not part of the team. So when you have a disability, if a missing leg or a missing hand or arm, it's really important that you have like cool devices, like cool prostheses from colorful and like kind of superhero look. And so you are included in the group and not be the outsider, or you would be the kind of hero in the class, and everybody want to play with you. For example, there's a Lego hand. They built a hand with bricks, and there was a 7-year-old boy here in Germany actually, and there he was never again the outsider when he came to school with this cool Lego hand. He was like the middle, he was like everybody would like to play with him, and so it was so important. It has such a huge impact in his life. And the Lego hunt, the value was around $500, so it was fair enough.
You all are using a disability, making it cool
Exactly.
to where the kids will want then to be part of this person's life. And
Yes.
that is a very strong message. Speaking though of getting more into professional careers and people with disabilities, at this time in America, we are having a very, I don't want to use the word debate, but I will say heated conversation of actors who are disabled only playing disabled characters in film and TV. And Bionic Man is disabled. And so I think there are two questions. One, what do you think of this question of should only disabled actors be able, or should only disabled actors go out for and be cast in roles where they are disabled, fictitious characters? And if in fact Bionic Man does make it to the big screen, who would you want to play Bionic Man? That's a loaded question. So,
no, actually, I think, well, it's my opinion. In my opinion, I think people with a disability should play people with disability in movies, in theaters. Because when someone is blind or deaf, I mean, it is very, very realistic and authentic that he played his, well, he actually, he doesn't have to play because he lives like this all the time, like 24/7.
yes.
So I think it makes very much sense, and it has all to do with inclusion as well. Inclusion in movies, inclusion in sports. I love next to the Olympic Games the Paralympics as well. I mean,
Yes.
it was such a huge success in Brazil, the last one, and I really appreciated to look that, and sometimes they have more publicity than the Olympic Games by itself.
Yes.
So really, I was really happy that it was like this, because it was like a movement starting from London, from the Olympic Games back in the days, like it was like 8 years ago around. But back to your question.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
It's very, very important that people with a disability or people with special needs are actors as well. It's in Bollywood or in Hollywood, it doesn't matter. It's so important that they are part of the society, because people with special needs, and at the end of the day, everybody has special needs.
Yes, very good point. I love that point. Thank you very much. That's a very, very good point.
If you have 2 hands or 2 legs or 10 toes or 10 fingers, or if it's something like physical or
psychological, yes, you have it. Psychological, yes.
Exactly. Because at the moment we are all humans. We are not like robots or machines. So we have feelings, we have like weaknesses, we have strengths, and that's what humans are. And for that point, I think it is very important that we include people which are in a wheelchair or are blind or deaf or whatever the disability is in films, in movies as well, because they are part of our society.
Absolutely. Very good point. Now, society, you've opened the door for the next topic or question. Social media. I think social media has and particularly when we focus in on the disabled population, I think social media has been a very positive tool. Mm-hmm. But I would like to get your feedback on this topic, and particularly with younger people who perhaps maybe are isolated in rural areas of America or various other countries, and can experience friendships and exposure to other people who are disabled, and or at least just see it, disabled people working out in the gym. I love it whenever I see young men who are disabled, doing these amazing things in the gym, or as you just pointed out, the Paralympics, due to social media, it has gone viral. And I think it is very positive, but I would like to get your feedback on what you think is positive, and or if you do think it is positive, and what you think is negative.
Yes. Well, I think social media has the ability to bring the world closer together. I think that's a good point. There are numerous online communities and support groups which helps affect people to find others who they can relate to due to sharing the same experience in their day-to-day lives. And because of this, in my opinion, social media has been positive for the disabled population. Because there's a lot of exchange going on between between countries like Japan, the US, South America,
Yes.
Switzerland, Germany, and I think that's very, very important that people can exchange like experience they had with a government, with, for examul, wheelchair people in a wheelchair. They can experience like when they enter or when they have to take the train, what is to have to take the train in a European country, and how does the train called in the US, the Amtrak?
Well, we have the Amtrak
Yeah.
in metropolitan cities. We also have the subway. Yeah,
Yes.
in London, it's called the Underground. So I mean, various places have various names, but yes, I do understand what you're saying. The accommodation factor is there.
That's really important, I think, and they can exchange experience. For example, how to ride a bicycle, what they have like. They can be very clever ideas and coming up, and they can exchange those ideas worldwide, and it brings us much faster forward than, for example, well, not century, 2 decades,
Uh-huh.
2 decades back in time. So I think it's a good thing. Social media. Well, it's a good thing. Internet. There's always two sides of the story, of course.
Yes, yes.
Discrimination, of course, going on as well, because people with like kind of fake accounts. Some people like this, they want to discriminate some other people, and that's a bad thing. But it's what can we do? I mean, it's like, hopefully it's not the majority of the internet users are like this.
No, I don't think it is the majority at all. On the contrary, I think it is a very small minority. We just had, actually earlier this week, we had a wonderful conversation with a young woman who is an artist who is disabled, and her mother. And the young woman was, she's actually a teenager.
Okay.
She was speaking about how social media has allowed her to have more of I guess you could say, a diverse social life. That she's actually had conversations with people that were not disabled, on social media. So I do think it is. I think it is a very positive tool. So yes, I do. Final question. Well, not the final question, but we're winding things up. What do you want people to know about you? I mean, it's obvious that you're a superhero, you're Bionic Man, you're a very strong advocate in Switzerland, you're becoming more international. But, your personal life, you spoke a little bit about your childhood. Is there anything that you would want people to know about you that are perhaps maybe experiencing some internal insecurities about their disabilities? You come across as being very confident, very articulate, and you're obviously very successful. But, maybe it wasn't always that way. So is there anything you'd like to share, a little bit of advice? Yes.
Well, it wasn't always like sunshine and rainbow, of course. So, difficult times as well, but I was very lucky because my parents. I have a younger brother with 2 hands actually, and they treated me all the times the same as my younger brother. So I never had like a special treatment because of a missing hand. And by the end of the day, I just want to add, well, in my case, it's just a hand. I have a very good colleague. He is in a wheelchair, so he can not even move himself without help from a third person. And he's such a lucky and positive person. So when I talk to him, and he's so positive and so he's like a sunshine. And after the conversation with him, I always feel a little bit ashamed. So I think, sometimes I struggle with myself because I have just one hand, and he is in a wheelchair and he cannot even move. And he's so happy with his life. So stop complaining, Michael, I said to myself. And yes, and I think it's really important that to be yourself and to express yourself and use the disability for you advantage as well. So nowadays, for example, if you have no hands or no legs, I mean, there is not just like prosthesis looks like a hand. They want to look like a human hand, like it was like 5 or 10 years ago. Nowadays they have like very cool designs, and I work together with like product designers and orthopedists and like hospitals, and you can really experience with material, with colors,
Yes.
and I think you have to switch the, well, how do you say it in English? To start thinking the other way, to not see the glass half empty,
Yes.
seeing it half full, and what it can be a door opener as well. I mean, I have this bionic hand, and I'm very privileged to have this. There are 12 people here in Switzerland and have this hand, and it was such a door opener. So I met people with I never would met without this prosthesis. So
Right.
I met you as well, so that's a great story as well. So I see the advantage of it.
Yes, yes. I think that your point is very well taken. You know, it depends on us how we approach our situation, you know, and we can change the approach and we can turn it into something very, very positive. And we can also turn it into something positive for other people. So, and
Exactly.
that's what I think that that's why we appreciate you, and that's why we appreciate Bionic Man so much. So, and that brings us to the final question.
Yes.
Exactly what are the similarities between Michael and Bionic Man?
Wow, that's a tricky question. I think it's about publicity. So in my case, it's I think it's well, it's Bionic Man. It's like my alter ego, I would say. Like Superman has an alter ego, or Batman, but you know, I think it's like Bionic Man is like a kind of special superhero because he has a disability, and there are no superheroes. Well, I don't know one. Maybe there is one. I'm not in the Marvel or in the DC comic universe. And I think that makes him very special. And lately, a reporter asked me, "Oh, Michael, do you need publicity, or do Bionic Man needs publicity?" And I told him, "Well, I don't need publicity for my person. It's about my projects." That's much more important. I'm just the face for Bionic Man, or the face for the Bionic Hand, but it's not about me. It's about the project, and I'm very blessed that I can reach so many people here in Switzerland. They want to support it. They want to help children with disability, and it's such a thankful mission. I can. How do you say? I can be a part of it. So
Yes.
I told you before, I'm just like this tiny wheel gear in this gigantic clockwork, and I just try to move the right direction. That's all I can do. And I think when there are a lot of gears or a lot of wheels trying to or turning the right direction, we can really move and we can really make a difference.
I think so too. I think you brought up a very good point. When we're all moving in the right direction, I think that we can really make a difference, which makes me feel very happy that you're out there, that you're doing all this work. I cannot thank you enough for being on the show. And by my copy of whatever camera we're at, my copy of Bionic Man goes with me everywhere. I'm sharing it with everybody because I love it a lot, and we will definitely put a lot of these photographs in the edit a lot of these photographs in this show. So hopefully, Bionic Man will make it to New York very, very soon.
Actually, I was in New York for the New York Marathon like last year.
Oh wow!
Yes,
Yes. And how was it? Did you finish?
yes, I finished, but after 30 kilometers, it was too long to enjoy, I have to say.
Well, you know, I have friends who have run the marathon. I've never run the marathon. I am a tennis player, and
Okay.
I broke my ankle about 10 years ago. And with a healed broken ankle, there's no way that I could run any marathon. I'm still an avid tennis player. I play tennis 2 or 3 nights a week and every weekend day. But at the end of the day, you know, I mean, I could not do the marathon, but I would have loved to if I had not have suffered this broken ankle. So, yes.
Yes, we have a very good tennis player here in Switzerland.
Yes.
Roger Federer.
Yes. You also have what is his name? Isn't he the one who beat Novak Djokovic a few years ago in the French Open?
Babenka?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No, Stanislas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's from the French part of Switzerland.
Yes.
Roger Federer, he's from the German part.
Yeah, oh, yes, yes. Yes.
So the Italian part, the German part, the French part, and the Romantic part. So we are like multicultural here. It's a big melting pot as well, and I really appreciate this. This is such a great city, and not only for the restaurant to go out. I always loved it to be in New York. It's such a great place.
Yes, well, we would be glad to have you. So the next time you're coming, please let us know, and you'll be welcome in the studio.
Thank you very much, Kurt.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So all the best from Switzerland, and have a great weekend then.
Yes, you too.